Welcome to Easier Habits Not So Live. Normally, this is an 8 a.m. live stream, but today it's recorded in part because Meg may or may not be going to the airport tomorrow with the crazy weather we've been having. She might be going tonight, but I figure I will just go ahead, film this, get this content out so I don't leave you in the cold like we are. All right, so today in Easier Habits, quote unquote, live. We're going to be talking about what we got from our marketing consultant. I want to walk you through the deliverables we got, the process we got, so you can see what we got. This is from Jeremy at Innovative Marketing. It was a very affordable introductory market research package. I think we got a lot for it. Even just the opening questionnaire was really helpful for Meg in terms of focusing her, helping her develop and think through what her offers are. And this is kind of the framework that we've been going through. We've been talking about the 5-day challenge. I'll show you where that fits in and all these plans and all the other things we could do if that's successful or if it's not successful. So one thing I wanted to do before I forget is the communication tip. So yesterday Meg talked about being aware that other people have different assumptions and goals and views. And I added the additional piece that it is actually extremely helpful to focus that down to what's most important to other people. But I realized the other thing, there's probably two things that would be fantastic. Like, you will do amazingly well with people if you can identify what's most important to them or what's their goal, even just in a particular context, not necessarily in life in general, although that second is very powerful. But the other thing to identify is, what is their big problem right now? And basically, one of the things I was hearing as Meg was calling the airlines about her flight and being canceled and trying to move it, etc., I heard her saying, "Thank you so much. I know that the airlines have had lots of problems recently with the weather and there have been PR issues, but you've been so helpful." Right? So she acknowledged one of the big problems the airlines were going through and know that it's not this customer service person's fault, and made that, even if she didn't solve that problem for that, acknowledging that person's challenges and thanking them for being helpful in spite of those problems, that was very powerful. That was one small example that I saw of Meg being a great communicator. And a lot of times she gives you these tips. You don't get to see behind the hood what she's actually doing. Like, I wish I had a camera recording or a voice recording of how she handled that, because it's just one example of how she is, in fact, a great communicator, even on the spot, because a lot of these tips that she's been thinking through are things that she's practiced on her own and does very naturally now. So when you're dealing with other people, recognize they have a different perspective, and two things that will color that very strongly will be what's most important to them and what's their biggest problem at the moment. So if you can speak to either of those things, you will have a lot more influence, you will have a deeper relationship, you'll get a lot more out of that relationship. So that is the communication tip. Let me show you what the marketing consultant, Jeremy from Innovative Marketing, I'll leave a link below, gave us for our marketing. So I'm going to screen share here, and then excuse me a little bit while I move windows around. All right, so the first thing we got here was a long questionnaire, ended up being 13 pages, really helpful. All the sorts of things that you'd be wanting to do for marketing our own social media assets, keywords that we think might be helpful, competitors, doing the competitive analysis. Again, I've kind of listed this. This was the this is the business tip yesterday, market research tip yesterday. It was like, start with competitors. And that's an iterative process. Market research in general is, but a lot of people I've noticed with young companies or who want to build a company don't have a really good idea of who their competitor is. In their mind, their product is so unique and novel, right? They don't know anyone who's doing the exact same thing. And you need to think a little broader, who's filling that need and how. And it's good to find a range of competitors, people who are very closely doing what you're doing and different services that people are using. Because, for instance, if someone needs to learn English, right, they might learn it from a one-on-one coach, or they might go to a coach slash teacher and student matching site, which I'll show you later. It's some of the competitors we've got, right? And so Meg has to be able to articulate not only what makes her better than other coaches, but maybe why it's better than a take lessons online type of school, or coaching marketplace, etc. So she's got to stand out from all of that. Plus, people who are coaching in those places are designing, teaching, and whatever packages, so you can also learn from them. Doing the competitor research, and so what type of products and services do you offer? Briefly describe your dream client. Who or what is their enemy? That's great copywriting, right? Like, what is the big problem? What's stopping them in their tracks? What's causing them the most pain? All right. What do you estimate it will cost you? To get a client, to make a profit on a client, how long do clients stay with you, do you have an email list, etc. So these are a lot of like very specific just customer things. Do you have customer and communications type things? So very in-depth, very thorough. Again, this is a great exposing you to the breadth of what there is, and then the helpful thing is that Jeremy works with us on like where we could start with all of these. Offers, designing and validating offers is really the biggest thing right now. So after we finish this out, we got here, let me go to the top, we have a report, our customer value journey questionnaire or assessment. So that's the link to the original questionnaire that Meg offered. So there's keyword research as part of this report. This is fairly standard. You could, take the keywords. He found some additional keywords, related keywords. If you have software like SEMrush, that's one of the things Jeremy was using. Now it's like $100 a month to use yourself, so that's like a good chunk of the price of this market report right here. But you could do this for yourself. And he's highlighted, some of the biggest monthly services. Obviously, the ones in English actually are going to have limited monthly services, and this is searches. And this is something where I might use some free tools or work with Meg a little bit to see if we could figure out ways to find the Japanese ones they're searching for. Because I have a hunch that, we'll see from some of his other reports ways that we could look up Japanese keywords that might be getting a lot of results. And I have to use Google Translate because I don't read characters, but I think that might be an avenue where, especially with Meg's help, we can nail some things that even have bigger than monthly searches. But just by this, you might not want to focus on SEO in English from this report. And then some of the other things that we have are competitors, right? And so this was one of them, right? This is a competitor, bloodsearchvinegar.com. It's funny. Some of these things don't translate very well, but this is like a coaching this is a site where English coaches and English learners can be matched. There you go. It's a coaching platform, right? And so you can see like what people's specialties are, like TOEIC. Meg has mentioned that it's a big Japanese test. Here's business, someone who does business, right? And I'm kind of interested. So you can see this person just does like test daily conversation study abroad, and their basic plan is 19,000 yen per month. So that's like, I don't know, somewhere less than 200, right? Versus this is someone who does business with special benefits as PDFs and videos, right? Advanced course or whatever. And I usually use 100 yen to dollar. It's probably more yen to the dollar, but right? So that's thousands, right, of a basic course for 3 months. Okay, so 3,000 for almost 4,000 for 3 months means more than 1,000 for 1 month, and I don't know how much time commitment, right? So obviously, like, this is, for instance, the fun thing about this is you can start to see the difference in price points and packages for business versus general English, which is one of the reasons why Meg is working with, one of the reasons why Meg is working with specific, there's a mindset coach. That's interesting. And some of the same things, but just like in terms of TOEIC, daily conversation study abroad, as the first person, but as a mindset coach, is charging $1,000 per month rather than $200 per month, right? So anyway, there's a wealth of information about the packages people are offering on this. But the other interesting thing with SEMrush is SEMrush, Search Engine Marketing Rush. So this site gets 50,000 in traffic. It has lots of backlinks. Does not seem to do paid traffic. You can see some of the organic traffic and the keywords. They're all in Japanese, but this would be a great source to go for Japanese keywords, what people are searching. But these ones might be more generic in terms of Japanese. If the top ones they're found for aren't business English, but if there is a business English one of those, then that would be a great one to think about, maybe target. But the other thing nice with some of these SEM searches, and again, like, you could probably get a free trial if you haven't had SEMrush and get a report like this. Based on, find your competitors and then get some of these cool reports, a couple of them free, and then, just to dip your toes. Like, that's not a bad thing to do, to get, who your competitors are, because this is also very helpful with the map, right? So you have different competitors, and this is the organic traffic, and then some measurement of keywords. Not 100% sure about that, but right, their biggest competitors. So, and then this is another one of the clients, and this is one of the more of like a very nice page for something that looks more like an individual coach. Certainly has like the image of an individual coach. What is Katie Style English Coaching? So, anyway, nice, pretty clean. This is actually a fairly long page, but not a lot going on at once. Owner's profile. Okay, yeah. So definitely an individual, right? And in this particular individual ones don't have as much traffic as like a coach, for instance. Like a coaching platform with lots of students that's a bigger established business probably has more marketers and people working on that or driving traffic to it, but also has the individual coaches driving traffic to the site, right? Lots of individual coaches driving traffic to the site. So, but they have, 1,000 views per month, which is not bad. The strange things of like suggest, propose, and don't worry. Interesting that those are searches. The don't worry. I'm kind of curious about this. Can we translate that? Don't worry. Let's see here. Translate just this part. Don't worry meaning word imi. Yeah, that means don't worry about the meaning. I don't like, it would be interesting to know why that phrase gets 1,000 searches, right? Let me know how does that lead to this page that's just like very interesting. So there's stuff here to learn about like how people find this person that seem entirely perplexing, and maybe at some point would warrant like sitting down and looking into that. But again, you can see kind of competitors, and that's where I found, let's see, Guyan.com. So this is another one, which is more of an individual blogger, it looks like reviews of different things. So, which again, that's another potential competitor, not immediately in Meg's space offering coaching services per se. Actually, I think there is an English coaching school. or are these just about blogs about coaching school? Right, Ricky. Yeah, so these like seem like comparison, like hard to parse this or whatever for a specific offer, right? Because it has these ads. But I'm especially thinking less that's an ads for this person, right? They make money via ads or something, or they're an affiliate, so they make money versus that. But they're a blog. But that is the place. Like if this is a place where people go to learn about how to learn English, right? Getting this person to get a blog. Or getting this person to get a blog out, or like helping that writing a guest post for this person might be a fun opportunity. And I guess we're towards the 10K traffic and more organic keywords that make sense why they're on their own. They're like a blog versus just like a short business portfolio site. But anyway, like these are the helpful type of things for general competitors. Now, for specifically what we're trying to do with the 5-day challenge, one of the things I'm doing is not just looking, I'm going to probably look through some of these competitors and look at the packages they're offering or whatnot. I don't know if they do 5-day challenges, but the benefits they get from their package, is there a way that I can honestly, right, and justly make the claim that those are the kind of benefits you can get in Meg's 5-day trial. So I can steal some benefit language from there that hopefully resonates with their audience from the more successful people. But the other thing I might do is also look at other 5-day challenges that aren't specifically for Japanese people learning English, but that are like making a VSL 5-day challenge, or content marketing, or like related marketing spaces, producing a marketing video 5-day challenge. If I can find things like that, I might be able to borrow some of their benefits and either, just Google Translate to start with, like a very short, simple page. And try and advertise in Japanese, which is not my strong suit. And I probably can have Meg correct some of that or something, like send some copy to Meg and have her correct that. Or just borrow it in English, but advertise to a Japanese audience that already has some interest in business English, etc. So, maybe international travelers, so maybe they have a better idea of that. The other question I have in terms of like marketing a 5-day challenge is like the target audience, like who's involved in this sort of thing, right? And while Japan may be different, if I can find people who join that sort of 5-day challenge in the US, I might be able to find people who have similar job titles or interests in a 5-day challenge in Japan, right? Take that to Japan, those targeting ideas. So those are So those are ways that I will do, those are ways that I will look at these competitors and their current offerings. I'll also kind of bring in a new subset of not competitors, people going in a different niche, but offering a similar service, and be able to steal some of their language to test it. Again, I am not necessarily a marketer, but the idea in terms of like copywriting, but the idea is I don't have to write this from scratch. I can borrow from other people and then test to see what works. So that was some of the competitive research I'll be using to develop ads for this 5-day challenge. And again, we don't have to have all of the content. We just have to come up with some creatives and copy, because this is the type of stuff Meg has already worked with people on. For instance, right, she has that before and after video of someone pitching their room on what do you call it? Clubhouse, right? Pitching a room on Clubhouse. So that is, she's done she has this content. She just needs to organize it into a 5-day challenge and find what resonates with people and works with people, what reliably gets them results in 5 days, etc. And we need to find, the creatives and copies, etc. that work with people. Anyway, I'm babbling, aren't I? All right. Anyway, that's the competitive research with the SEO reports, which is hugely helpful. And then And then there are some strategy sections. So summary of findings, that there weren't a lot of a lot of visitors on individual sites, on individual coach sites. But again, some of these bigger matching coaches with student sites have 50,000. Although not all of those people are for business English. So, all right. But then we also have a map of this, different customer journeys that we could think through. So there's ads. We have this, let's see, they become aware. And he kind of has these things filled out in general, right? Like general strategies. So you could just take this map and reuse it. But then there's some specific suggestions. So like, all right, so to getting people subscribe, and we could take the offers and stuff that we've used in this and kind of like print this out and fill that out and like, all right, we have these offerings and whatnot. These are how I could turn that offering into a blog post or go on a podcast about it, etc. So etc. So, but yeah, and so he has some of these specific journeys. And then with some suggestions for like, here's how we get people to subscribe, convert, etc. And it's a great customer journey, right? And ascend, go through a series of packages, right? And then advocate, share with other people, promote, etc. And so, there's a different journey you can think of focusing on emails. And there's a different version with funnels. And when we talked to Jeremy, he mentioned like, yeah, we probably don't want to build out funnels until we validated offers. So we wanted to go with suggestions that were easy to test. So our major, here, I think that's a good overview. I think he has some proposals of like, all right, next solutions, right? If we are to ascend in the innovative marketing thing, what would be the next steps, right? And we could pay $5,000 to $10,000 or something like that, thousands of dollars for a funnel, but we haven't really validated the offer of a funnel. And so what we want to do is pick ways to validate. So the simplest thing to validate would be just do a lead magnet. So I could do a lead magnet ad. I could do a lead magnet ad for Meg's direct services, but I could also try a lead magnet ad signing up for the 5-day challenge, which I think I'll do. I think I will focus on getting more people aware of Meg, especially if they're in the 5-day challenge. That's where we can work on upsells and whatnot. And then we could do a blog post about it, and we could play around with boosting the blog post, right? For the 5-day challenge, and yeah, just kind of simple and focus on this one key thing. And the reason, again, I've been talking about this a lot. You can go back a few episodes to get this more in depth, but one of the reasons why a 5-day challenge was appealing is because it is something that you can start hands-on and get a lot of feedback, right? So if you can, Jeremy was talking about, if you can just get 5 to 10 people to sign up, right? That's not only like 5 to 10 potential testimonials, but you have value. If you deliver value each day, as we went over in yesterday's video, if you deliver value each day, then you have 5 chances to get that testimonial for each 5 to 10 person. So and that's great feedback. And it's great feedback if there isn't a day that's not super helpful or that's confusing, because you can swap that out with other content, right? And optimize the offers that have the most impact. And then you could take your 5-day challenge, and without like actually repeating the challenge, you could take each day of that and produce several pieces of content around that can then funnel into the 5-day challenge, etc. So it's really generative. If you work and if you work hands-on initially, right? If she's doing that live with a group just in Facebook as like an MVP, she can get a lot of feedback, but she can also record those videos, as well as ask people permission to share their before and after or their examples, and she can package that in basically either a straight up paid online course for cost, for a cost, or just automate it as like a evergreen do-it-yourself 5-day challenge and just like a constant lead magnet. So, and that's a lot of value for free. But then there'll be people who have, a taste of Meg's services and one video, but if they really want help, building that video into a network of business contacts or an English marketing, content marketing strategy, etc., then they will upsell to her services. So that is the current plan. And so I hope this gave you an idea of like what you can get out of consulting. If this looks really helpful for you, go ahead and check the link below for Jeremy of Innovative Marketing. We've really loved working with him. And so he's gotten great feedback. It's really structured our marketing journey. We are glad that we tried to do some marketing beforehand. I think we got more out of the experience, and we're able to answer more of those questions in the questionnaire because we had actually tried something before. But this is a huge step forward in learning how to think about marketing and what to do next and what our possibilities are. That if we'd just been researching this on our own, we probably would have been like lost, and it would have taken us a lot longer. Probably this whole, I don't know how long it would have taken us to try out a 5-day challenge, but in retrospect, it was a great suggestion, and that's what we're moving forward with. So I know there's a lot of interest in what is it like working with a marketing consultant. So I hope this gives you the answer, and Jeremy's been kind enough to say that we can share any of this stuff on our stream, which is awesome. So again, if this has been helpful, one, check out Jeremy, link below, but also subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to give you the insider look at what it takes to build your business, and we have been trying to take Meg from the beginning of November having no repeatable customer acquisition model to, by the end of June, having a specific model. We know how much actions we need to take, how much cost it takes to acquire, how much value we'll get from those customers, hopefully, all of those things. So, and we'll have a repeatable model, and then hopefully, ideally, we'll even start automating some of that model. So, if you want to watch that journey live, like and subscribe and share, because we want to build a community of entrepreneurs that can ask questions, get feedback, etc. So, definitely ask those questions on the comments below. If you have any questions about working with a marketing consultant, or requests for particular things to focus on, future episodes of this will be me walking through these steps. So I'll start doing some of that market research live tomorrow. I will start working with ads, and I will admit, marketing is not my strong suit, but what I can show you, I'm really good at teaching. I'm an instructional designer, and what I can show you is what the process of learning how to become a better marketer looks like, and that's something you don't get very often. So let me know what kinds of questions, what kinds of things you want us to try out, and I will respond to them, and we'll make videos and content around them later. So anyway, it's been great. Thank you for watching, and until tomorrow, make big changes one small habit at a time.